Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be looking at my StamPlar build for the Ascending Tide chapter. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much on 1,800 subs on YouTube. That is absolutely massive, and we're really closing in on that 2,000 mark soon. So once we get there, I'll do a 5 mil gold giveaway. So guys, if you're not subbed to the channel, please do so, and so that we can work towards that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright guys, let's get started. First things first, let's look at our character sheet. So on this build, we're going to be an Imperial Templar. Imperial is the best in my opinion for any stam builds. That way you can get that reduced cost, because we're also going to be a Vampire in this build, because Vampire Stage 3 is absolutely broken. So having that Imperial reduced cost in there is really going to help counteract that. And I just really like it for the max health and the max stamina as well. And then as far as our attributes go, we're going to be looking at 13 points into health and 51 points into stamina. And then our stats without buffs at all are going to look like this: 32.4k health with 25.2k stamina. Now, at first, this doesn't look like a lot of stamina, but our recovery is going to be pretty high with rally going, and then at the same time having our one of our sets active. So don't really worry about the recovery at all. I don't ever run out of stamina at all, so don't have you. I promise, guys, you don't have to worry about that at all. Our Mundus is going to be the Apprentice. Yes, spell damage with a StamPlar. I'll explain it all later after we talk about our jewelry on our character. So I promise I will explain why. Don't worry. And then our food is going to be our Zorga's smoked bear haunch. This is going to increase our max health by 4,300, and then our also the health recovery, but that doesn't really matter in this game. But stamina and magic recovery as well by 369. So that you get a nice chunky amount of recovery from that, and a nice chunky amount of health. So I really like Orzogas for this. And then, as I said, Vampire Stage 3, the reason why we do this is because of the Undeath passive, which is basically like a built in pariah for anybody who knows it. What this does is the less health you have, the less damage you take. So it is just up to 30%. So it is definitely huge, and I always recommend going Vamp Stage 3 on any of your Brawler builds. That way, you could take a hit at low health. As far as let's look at our gear next. Our monster set is going to be Magma Incarnate. I absolutely love Magma Incarnate. I think it's the best monster set in the game right now. Using Magma Incarnate for our heavy helmet is going to be absolutely really good for our resistances. So having a heavy one and reinforced is going to increase your armor as much as possible. And then your shoulder is going to be medium in impen, and both of the glyphs are going to be prismatic. And before I even go any farther, all of our body pieces are prismatic as always, as you can see. So our helmet is going to be heavy, and what Magma Incarnate does is the one piece gives magic and stamina recovery, which is again huge for the recovery. And then the two piece is whenever you heal yourself or a group member, the easiest way to put this is you get minor courage and minor resolve, so it's going to increase your spell and weapon damage by 215 and your armor by 3k. And then this will also bounce around to the rest of your group, so it's really helpful for you, but it's also helpful for your group as well. So I really love it so much. It gives you a really good amount of buffs and a good amount of damage as well, so that's why I really like it. And then for our chest piece, we're going to be using Wretched Vitality in the heavy weight with a reinforced trait. What Wretched Vitality does is the 2-piece gives you magic recovery, the 3-piece gives you stamina recovery, the 4-piece gives you weapon and spell damage, and then the 5-piece, easy way to put this is when you're in combat, if you apply a major buff or debuff and then also a minor buff or debuff, overall you're going to be getting just about 400 weapons, or I'm sorry, weapon slot, 400 magic and stem recovery for 15 seconds. And as long as you're in combat, you can continuously apply this, so it never ends. So the best way to proc both of this is if you use Race Against Time, which I have on this build. That will always proc both conditions of this. So as long as you use Race Against Time every 15 seconds, which you should in a fight, you will have this active at all times. You're going to have your recovery through the roof with this set. It is without a doubt my favorite set in the game, and I think that it is a must on most builds. I think that you can just build right into damage after you use this. I love it. Our waist piece is going to be Belt of Wretched Vitality in medium in the impen trait. Our hands are going to be Bracers of the Trainee, medium in Impen. You have one extra slot on this build, so using Trainee will get you that extra 1.4k max health. Our legs are going to be heavy Wretched Vitality in the Reinforced trait. Having heavy Reinforced is going to increase your armor as much as possible, like I said earlier, so it's going to increase your resistances. And then our feet are going to be Essence Thief in medium in the Impen trait. What Essence Thief does is it's going to give you 2 lines of max stamina, and then your 4 piece is going to give you weapon and spell damage, and the 5 piece is dealing damage with a light or heavy attack, draws an essence from the enemy that pulls near them for 5 seconds. Drawing that pool will heal you for 4.3k health, restore 4.2k stamina, and increase your damage done by 10% for 10 seconds. So basically what this does, it's going to help out your sustain even more while also giving you an insane amount of extra damage. This is what I found to be my favorite damage set so far on a Stam build. It is both damage and sustain with the max health and max stamina being restored. So I personally like this. If you like something else on a StamPlar instead, I get it. Don't worry. But personally, I think that this is just really, really, really good. Our necklace is going to be Essence Thief as well in the Swift trait, and then I'll go over the enchantments after I go over all the jewelry. Our ring is going to be Markin in Infused, which is also going to give you a bonus 200 weapon and spell damage and extra 2300 armor. So just for wearing the Wretched Vitality and the Essence Thief. And then our ring is going to be Ring of the Essence Thief in the Swift trait. So all 3 of these jewelry pieces are also spell damage, and the reason why we have it like that is because now that all the sets are hybridized and your damage is hybrid, and it just is based off of your max spell damage or your max weapon damage, a Templar can get a higher spell damage than can a weapon damage bonus, just due to the simple fact of the Illuminate passive having the minor sorcery at all times. So that is why I use spell damage glyphs and also the spell damage Mundus from earlier too. So, just an FYI. And then to finish out the gear, we're going to be using Maul of the Essence Thief and the Sharpen trait with the weapon and spell damage increased enchant. This is going to increase your pen as much as possible. It's nice to have as much weapon damage and spell damage as possible, but having your penetration is really key as well. So that's why we're using Sharpened and a Maul right there to increase that enough so that you can just build into spell damage afterwards. And then our back bar is going to be a sword and shield of Wretched Vitality. The sword is going to be powered, and the shield is going to be sturdy. And then the enchant that I use is magic because we're using a lot of magic skills on our back bar. So increasing your magic a little bit is going to help a little bit. Not too much, but I really like it personally. And then for our skills, we're going to be rocking for our front bar, biting jabs. This is going to be your main spam bull. There's a reason why Templar and jabs go hand in hand. It's really good. Activating this is going to give you major brutality, but also the damage that you get from this is absolutely amazing. Plus, on top of that, it brings Nightblades out of stealth, and honestly, Nightblades are just terrible. So I love being able to kill them. It's perfect. And then Camo Hunter. Camo Hunter is going to be absolutely key for this build. This is going to increase your damage a lot. I recommend having this on your front bar on most builds, but having this just slotted, you're going to get your major savagery and prophecy increased, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage critical. Weapon and spell damage. Well, I can't talk right now, and I'm not even going to cut this. I don't even care right now. It's going to increase your weapon and spell critical by 2.6k. So this is going to really just help your critical rating out as much as possible. Jabs crit a lot, so this is going to really help you. And also, if you do damage from the flank, it's going to give you a minor berserk for 5 seconds, so it's going to increase your damage even more. So that's perfect. Rally, this is going to be a nice chunky heal if you can time it properly, but on top of that, it's going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery, and it's going to give you minor endurance. So you're going to get a double up of major brutality, major sorcery from that and the jabs, but if you have your rally up at all times, you'll still have it up. But having that minor endurance is going to increase your stamina recovery by 15% as well, and that chunky heal is really huge. Binding Javelin is absolutely phenomenal. It goes through block, and it just is the funniest skill in the world now. I didn't know that that it would actually be this broken to have an unblockable CC on Templar, but I absolutely love it here. Basically, what you do is you use Purifying Light. It hits harder, by the way. That's why I don't use Power of the Light. You use Purifying Light, and then you just jab away for days, and right when it's about to go off, you just hit Javelin on them, and then the full damage of this goes off, and it is just... the damage on it is absolutely massive. So that is why I use Javelin, and I absolutely love it here. Purifying Light, like I said earlier, Power of the Light does not hit as hard, so that is why I use Purifying Light. You get better damage in every single way by using this morph, and it's a very cheap ability to use as far as magic goes, so that is why I use this. Crescent Sweep, you hit hard as you hit really hard with this ultimate, and it is so cheap. It's 73 ultimate, so it's basically like a spam bullet at certain points. So I just love using this. It's just free damage. Between this, if you hit this Purifying Light and then a bunch of jabs, and then you use your Javelin on somebody, it's bound to do a lot of damage to them, I promise. And then on our back bar, we're going to be using Restoring Focus as our source of major resolve. So it's going to increase our physical and spell resistance by 6k. And then also you recover a lot of stamina when you're standing inside there. And then also you're going to be increasing your healing a lot too if you're standing inside of the rune. So it's going to just heal you for 1.7k every second. So it is absolutely... but if you just use that, you're using Vigor, then you're also using Living Dark. It's very, 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 very hard to kill you. I love using Restoring Focus. And then, as I mentioned earlier with Wretched Vitality, talking about that, Race Against Time is going to proc this. So it's going to be your source of Major Expedition and Minor Force, which is why it gets procced. And so this is also going to be your snare removal as well. So if you're snared down by something like Caltrops or something like that, you use that, you can get out. It's nice and easy. Resolving Vigor, this is going to be a huge heal for 4 seconds. I absolutely love this. If you just rotate that so that it's always out when you're on the defensive, if you use that, Living Dark, Restoring Focus, and then Extended Ritual, you are really healing a lot, and it's going to be very tough to kill you. Then Living Dark, this is going to be... enjoy it while you can, guys, because it's getting nerfed. This is going to heal you for about 2.6k every time you are taking damage, really. So I absolutely... it is such a good heal to pair with Resolving Vigor, and it lasts for 6 seconds, so it is really, 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 really good. It's really great to stay defensive with this, so I love Living Dark. And then Extended Ritual, this is going to purify any negative effects off you. Well, 5 of them, I think, in total. And then it's also going to give you a nice heal every 2 seconds for 24 seconds while you're standing inside of it. So it's a lot of extra heals. But on top of that, your allies can also activate the Purge synergy. So that's going to give them a nice chunky heal. And on top of that, reduce any or get rid of any harmful effects from them. So it's good for both solo and group play. And then, last but not least, Spell Wall. Spell Wall is going to be your defensive ultimate. This is going to block any projectiles that come in for 7 seconds. And it's also cheap, so if you have a Nightblade that's bow ulting you, use Spell Wall. Trust me. And then our champion points real quick. Our blue ones are Master at Arms, Biting Aura, Ironclad, and Duelist Rebuff. Our red ones are going to be Fortified, Celerity, Boundless Vitality, and Sustained by Suffering. And then our green tree, which is not that important. The only ones that matter are Rationer and Liquid Efficiency and Breakfall. Alright guys, that is the entire video. I really appreciate you guys being here. Again, like I said, I really appreciate us passing 1,800 subs on YouTube. I want to keep on growing and see where this leads. So if anybody's not subbed to the channel, we're going to be doing a giveaway at 2,000 subs. So please, please, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And for all you guys that are regular visitors here, I really appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys on the next video. Later.
We are all running with the lonely, the California. right. Kicking our feet, routine, but what are we all trying to find out? Two worlds collide, paralyzed, just in time. Oh, two worlds collide, paralyzed, just in time. Oh, two worlds collide, paralyzed, just in time. Oh, two worlds collide, paralyzed, but we're strangers, right? Just in time. Oh, worlds collide, paralyzed. Oh, loving like a machine. What have you sacrificed? Lost in the crowd.